We're all in this together. How many times have we heard that phrase over the past few months? It may sound good, but the painful reality is few of us feel together. Instead, we feel isolated and lonely. Loneliness has been a growing mental health epidemic for years, but now we're experiencing it more than ever. While some crises can bring us together, this one has separated us. We see each other on computer screens or from behind a mask. We practice social distancing, and as a result, we don't feel social, but distant. Earlier this year, as the shutdown orders were just being implemented, I moved from Denver to Kansas City to begin working in a new role. My wife stayed behind in Denver to finish her job and sell our house. I was alone, apart not only from my soulmate, but also from a social network of 20 plus years. While I was surrounded by a wonderful team, there were times when I felt isolated and alone. The Apostle Paul was no stranger to this feeling. At the end of his life, he was confined to a Roman prison. He had been abandoned and betrayed. In his loneliness, he wrote a letter to his dear friend Timothy. 2,000 years later, you could still hear his pain. He wrote, "Do your best to come to me quickly, for Demas has deserted me, Crescens has gone to Galatia, and Titus to Dalmatia. Only Luke is with me. At my first defense, no one came to my support, but everyone deserted me. But the Lord stood at my side and gave me strength." There are lessons we can learn from Paul's experience. First, we may all feel loneliness at times due to circumstances out of our control. We may not be in prison, but issues like distance, loss of a loved one, or stay-at-home orders can all add to our loneliness. But Paul's experience also reminds us that God will be a source of strength. He wrote, "The Lord stood at my side and gave me strength." So how can we tap into God's strength when we're feeling alone? First, recognize when you're lonely. For some reason, none of us like to admit to being lonely. There's a stigma attached to it, so we mask our feelings by telling ourselves we're tired or burned out. Or we don't think we could be lonely because we're constantly surrounded by people. But loneliness isn't about being alone, but more about feeling disconnected, isolated, or that you don't belong. So the first step to address our loneliness is to recognize when we're feeling disconnected or that we don't belong. Second, talk to God. He is always there for you. You could talk to Him and tell Him how you're feeling and be confident He is with you and He hears you and He cares for you. Third, intentionally connect with others. It's easy to fall into a cycle of isolation. We feel disconnected from others and therefore we stay disconnected. It takes a lot of energy to be positive and engage those around us. But it's exactly what we need to do. Smile at people. Say hello. Give someone a call. Break the cycle of loneliness by intentionally reaching out. Finally, lean into your workplace relationships. This has been key for me during these past months of being in a new place. I'm surrounded by good people 40 plus hours a week. I'm investing in relationships with these people I work with, and those relationships are feeding my soul and filling my cup. God wired us all for connection. When you feel like loneliness is setting in, recognize it, actively engage others, and tell God about it. He will give you the comfort and strength you're longing for.